Good morning, Rabbi. We find written in the Holy Zohar, Parashat Terumah, Daf Kuf Chav Chet Amud Bet. It says over there that there is a special kind of a Jew who's considered to be above all the other Jews in the world. What Jew are we talking about? We're talking about Jew who's a tzaddik. He keeps the Torah himself, but not only that, he also works with other Jews, people who are not going in the ways of the Torah, they're not going in the ways of the Mitzvot, and he brings them in, brings them close to Hashem. We call that Kiruv today, Mekarev, you're bringing somebody close to Hashem. But the Zohar Kadosh talks very specifically and very powerfully about this. It says that a Jew who does this, who brings people who are sinners back into the fold and brings them to do teshuvah, what happens is that Kadosh Baruch Hu gives him a very, very special blessing for this. He blesses him with, first of all, financial wealth in this world, becomes wealthy, becomes successful, and also he finds success with his family. He sees children, grandchildren, he sees them growing and going in the ways of the Torah. What's the reason why? Because he brought other people away from a sinful lifestyle and brought them into the ways of the Torah, the sinners. So what happens is that this is considered to be, says the Zohar Kadosh, the greatest of the Jews. Nobody's like him. Nobody's considered to be on his level. And the reason why is that so? Because what happens is that when a person removes the sinful Jews from the wicked ways, the sinful ways, what happens is that he brings them into the side of the kedusha, the side of holiness. He weakens the powers of the sitra achra, of the satan, of the evil forces, because they're getting power from that person. They're sucking out the energy of that person who's living a sinful lifestyle. And what happens is that when he gets him to abandon that way and to come back to the good ways, he takes away that power from the sitra achra, from the side of evil, and brings it to the side of good. So what happens is that the side of evil is degraded, is lowered, and the side of good, the side of Hashem, is exalted. So what you're doing is that you're actually exalting Hashem, you're exalting your Creator by bringing people in to the good side. So what happens is that you're making, really, you're changing the whole balance of the world. What you're doing is you're creating a new order in this world, bringing people to the side of the good, and this is considered to be the greatest thing in the world. There's nothing better than that. So what happens is that a person is rewarded very greatly for that. And they say that he's also rewarded in Shamayim, in the world to come, very, very greatly. Is considered to be the best, top of the top, the creme of de la creme. That's what he's considered to be, a person who brings in other people away from wickedness. This is a very difficult job to do. A person who wants to do this job, he has to take a lot of abuse. He has to be able to have patience, and he has to have perseverance, because people are very stubborn. The Jews are, what they call them, the stiff-necked people, right? The stiff-necked people, they're stiff-necked, so they're stubborn. They'll argue with you for hours, and maybe for weeks, and maybe for months, and maybe for years. They won't come to see your side, so you have to keep on, pressing them and working with them, and trying to bring them in this way and that way. And so if a person does that, it's a very difficult job. He has a lot of suffering for that. He suffers. He gets degraded, right? He has to bear all kinds of insults and all kinds of insult and injury, right? That's the idea. So what happens is that a person who is able to do that, and he has the patience to work with people. They say regarding that, right? This is what Avraham Avinu was doing. It says in the Midrash that Avraham Avinu, when he would bring in people to his Eshel, right? That's what it was. Eshel. One of the explanations of what Eshel means is that he had some kind of like a fast food place over there. They used to serve people food. They would come in and they would eat and they would get satiated. And he would tell them, you have to bless, the Creator who created the food. You have to make a blessing for everything. You have to say Birkat Hamazon. You have to say Bracha Achona, Bracha Rishona. You have to say everything. You have to say the first blessing, the final blessing. You have to say all these things. So they would tell them, you have to bless God because He's the one who gave you the food, not me. It's not me. He's the one who created everything. So they would argue with him, they couldn't convince them, and they would go back and forth, like this, and arguing. And what happened was that he used to argue with them for hours. He used to sit there. Can you imagine? He used to come in there, watch them eat, eating, and telling them, okay, do now this blessing, now do this, then do that, and bless this and bless that. And they would tell him, what are you talking about? Rabbi, you're a little, fanatic, it sounds fanatical what you're talking about, all that stuff. So he will tell them, no, you have to believe in the oneness of God, you have to believe in the Creator, you have to believe that He gives us everything, and you have to have all these kinds of beliefs in your head, and He's the one who gives us the hashgacha pratit, right? He watches over us, and He gives us all the sustenance that we need. So everything comes from Him. And He would argue with them, and they had all kinds of questions and all kinds of rebuttals and back and forth. He would spend hours on even one person, hours arguing back and forth until he convinced them to say Birkat Hamazon. This is how far he went. So a person has to learn from that. He has to know that doing kiruv, bringing people in from the side of the evil into the side of the good, it takes a lot of energy, a lot of effort, a lot of patience, a lot of humility it takes. So a person who can get to that level like that and do that, so a person is very greatly rewarded. Financially, becomes wealthy, becomes successful, becomes very established in this world. Like a pillar, you can't shake him up. That's what happens. And all the more so in the world to come. He gets very, very exalted over there. What happens is that he gets a special treatment, he gets a special designation in the heavens. They say, about him, they say about him, the angels, they go and tell Hashem, they say, this person, he's such a great, Kiros Man. He brings people in, he brings them from the side of evil to the side of good, and he brings them in to do teshuvah. So a person who should always be striving, as we see Rabbi, to do this, because the rewards are so great, right? The financial rewards, the material rewards, the spiritual rewards, they're all very, very, very great. And what is this for? Because he exalts the name of Hashem. He weakens the side of Sitra Achra, of the evil, and he strengthens the side of Hashem, exalts him. And Kadosh Baruch Hu is willing, right, to give him, out of the ordinary, a reward which is not in the realm of the ordinary whatsoever. Something extra and very, 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 very exaggerated. Just like he worked for Hashem with total devotion, Kadosh Baruch Hu tells him, just like you were totally devoted to me, to my cause, I'm also totally devoted to you. I give you right beyond and above and beyond what I should have given you in a normal manner. So Kadosh Baruch Hu blesses him like that. Can you imagine how great it is to bring people in like this to the side of good and bring them close to Hashem? So what does that mean? The Zohar Kadosh says even further. It says that a person who does this, right, he should even be able to willing to pay money for that. Right? Ad kedei kach. He should go as far as to, if he has money, let's say, right, he has money to support these people, to give them some kind of sustenance, to give them food, to give them, give them a salary, whatever, just to bring them into close to Hashem. You should be able to pay money for that. You should be willing to pay money. You shouldn't be cheap about that, right? Take your tzedakah money, take your maser money, and spend it on that. That's the idea, right? To spend it on bringing people in. How do you bring them in? I'll give you an example. In Yerushalayim, now in Jerusalem and Eretz Israel in general, we have so many people learning Torah over there, right? 50,000 people, 60,000 people learning Torah after they got married. They're not working and they're sacrificing all their careers in order to learn Torah. We study Torah. It's considered to be something very, very great. How do they get to a level like that where there's so many people sitting and learn Torah like that and not working and not dealing with their finances and not dealing with their material life? The reason is because the founders of this system, what they did was, in the beginning, they used to go around, people who had money, and they would pay people to come and study, because nobody comes for free now. Nowadays, you got to pay them. Somebody would tell them, listen, you don't do anything anyway, right? You're a pensioner, you sit at home, do nothing, you're idler, so come and I'll give you, $50. Come and sit down every day, I'll give you 50 shekels every day, whatever. That's right, you'll get some money. For money, they come, they come. What happens is that little by little, first of all, they're coming for money, mitoch lo lishma, ba lidei lishma. Right? First they come lo lishma, not for the sake of heaven, but in the end they're going to wind up doing for the sake of heaven, because they're going to see how great the Torah is. So little by little, what happens is that they bring him from the side of tumah, from the side of evil to the side of good. So a person should be willing to pay for that. Yes, out of his own pocket. Let him take his tzedakah money, as we said, right? His maser money, and pay for it. Give them cash, give them gifts, give them whatever it is, bribe them, right? Whatever it is you can do, a person has to give his money for that. Right? That's the idea. So you see that how devoted a person has to be to bring people in from the side of evil and bring them to the side of good. But don't worry, because whatever you pay, Kadosh Baruch Hu will pay you right exponentially for that. Whatever, you get everything back, and then some, and then a lot more. Why is that? Because you're exalting His name in the world by taking away from people from the side of evil and bringing them to the side of good. Nothing can be better than that. So Kadosh Baruch Hu tells us, the Zohar Kadosh teaches that bring people to my side, bring them away. Those wicked people, the sinners, take them away from the side of evil and bring them to the side of good. and I will pay you, I will reward you in this world, I will pay you in the world, reward you in the world to come. That's exactly what it says also in the Chovat Levavot, one of the great Musar books, ethical works that we find written by one of the earlier authorities, the Rishonim, writes also that the greatest way to serve Hashem, the greatest way to serve God is what? To bring people near to Hashem, teach them Torah, to teach them Mitzvot, to bring them from the side of bad to the side of good, to give merit to the people, right? To enlighten them in the ways of Torah and in the ways of Mitzvot. There's nothing higher than that. It says the Chovat Lavot, this is considered to be the greatest Jew in the world. Nothing considered to be greater than that. And this was the way of Moreno Rabbeinu, Maran Rav Shalom, Rav Ovadia. He used to tell us also that if you really want to be successful in Torah, all the Torah that you learned, only one way, to bring people into the Torah, to teach them Mitzvot, to teach them how to be better Jews, to educate them. He told all of us, he said, you know what, every one of you has to go out and do that and bring people close to the Torah. This is your job. This is why you're here, to study by me. This is the reason why. And if you do that, then you really did your job. If not, we're not sure, right? We're not sure what you're going to get for that, right? Just because you were selfish and you only worried about yourself, you have to worry about others as well. So once a person gets to the level where he can do that, and he has to hold on to it says in the Zohar Kadosh, he has to hold on to the wicked people, not to let them go. Let's say, oh, you know what, leave me alone, you're a sinner, go do what you want. I don't want to deal with you, you're giving me a headache. No, a person should say, listen, let me invite you over, bring your friends also, we'll come for Shabbat, or let me show you what's Shabbat, let me show you how this works, let me show you how that works, how to do the mitzvot, come to the synagogue, I'll show you how to pray, I'll show you how to put tefillin, I'll show you how to learn Torah, I'll show you how to learn Gemara, I'll teach you all these things. So a person should do all these things. That's what he should do, right? That he should bring people in like this, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu will give him a very, very, very great reward for that, because he sacrifices everything for the sake of sanctifying the name of God, by bringing people closer to His name, to His holiness, exalting the holiness, and making the Sitra Achra, the evil side, weaker and weaker. The Kadosh Baruch Hu should help us, B'ezrat Hashem. We should bring all the Jews back to do teshuvah. As the Rambam says, Mashiach will only come if all the Jews do teshuvah. He says before Mashiach comes, they're all to do teshuvah. We're not talking about the Erev Rav. The Erev Rav, they'll never do teshuvah. The Zohar Kadosh says that Erev Rav, they don't have in them the potential for teshuvah. They'll go in the wrong ways and they'll be destroyed. The Erev Rav, Chas v'shalom. But what happens is that when it comes to the real Jews, the ones who come from the holy souls of the Jewish people, those Jews, every one of them will do teshuvah, right? Without any exception. That's what the Rambam says. He brings it as a halacha. So therefore, Rabotai, the only way to speed up the Geulah, to the redemption, the final redemption, is to do that, to make the sacrifice. Everybody can do their share when it comes to this. What does that mean? People who are very learned, so they can teach Torah, they can, make videos and do lectures and all kinds of things to teach Torah to the people, and everybody can do their share. Whoever can teach children should teach children and teach them the Torah, bring them into the ways of Hashem. Whoever can teach young adults should teach young adults. If he's a teacher, high school teacher, whatever it is, and the people teach older people also as well. Adults. This is also very, very crucial. So each one will do according to his ability. Each one has to make his contribution. That's the idea, right? As it says in Moshe Feinstein Alav Shalom, he writes in his book Igor Moshe that a person also has to give maaser from his time as well. Not only maaser. What is a maaser? The person gives 10% of his money to tzedakah, to charity. So what happens is that this is called maaser. So says Rav Moshe Feinstein, also there's maaser from your time. What does that mean? That a person should give his time to teach Torah, to educate people, to enlighten them in the ways of Torah, to bring them close to Torah. Give 10% also of your time. Every day, every week, whatever it is, right? Contribute something. Make a class, make a lecture, make something, right? And if you don't know how to do that, you're not on that level, so then contribute money to the people who know how to do it. This way you have a share in that as well, right? The person who contributes is considered to have a share in the activity of that rabbi or in that institution that does kiruv, that brings people close to Hashem. So if we all work together, Kadosh Baruch Hu will help us to bring everybody closer, and this way, right, there won't be any more sinners anymore. Right? What does that mean? There won't be any more sinners. Not because they'll die, because they all do teshuvah. This is exactly what Bruria, the wife of Rabbi Meir, told Rabbi Meir. He told them, don't pray that people the sinners should die. They had sinners in their neighborhood, right? There were bandits, all kinds of robbers, mafia, looters, like we have today. We have these looters over here. They have deal. So what happened was that Rabbi Meir was was cursing them. He was praying that they should die. So Bruri, his wife, told him. His wife was very, very, very smart. She was a big chacham. So she told him, don't pray that they should die. Pray that they should do teshuvah. And that's exactly what he did. He listened to his wife. Right? Just like Avram Avinu had to listen to his wife, he also had to listen to his wife. So he listened to his wife, and he stopped praying that they should die. Instead, he started to pray that they teshuvah, and they did teshuvah. Right? So that's exactly what it is, Rabbi. That we want to get rid of the sinners. How? By making them to teshuvah. Not that they should go away and die. Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want them to die. He wants them to do teshuvah. This is what we should be praying for. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen. Chazak Baruch. You should be blessed with wealth, health, happiness. Whoever needs a refuah shlema, healing, should have healing. Whether it's spiritual or physical, Kadosh Baruch Hu should give us Geula shlema b'mher ve'amenu. Amen ve'amen. Chazak Baruch.